Hi, I'm Chad from EcoKing, and today we're going to learn how to replace a fan. Usually the fan will need replaced if you get a code 40 on the boiler. So first things first, we need to gain access to the inside of the boiler. Use a small screwdriver, undo the screw that's at the top of the boiler, and then push down on the top latch. Hold with two hands, pull the cover off. Set it to the side. Next thing, we have to take off the two igniter wires. Very simply, just pull them off, clip off, pull down the front control board cover. And next thing, we're going to have to make sure we have gas supply turned off before we do anything. And then we're going to come in and take off the gas pipe right here. So now we're going to take off the gas pipe. Again, I have to reiterate, make sure your gas supply is off external to the boiler. Take a wrench, connect onto the bolt, loosen it. Now it should be loose enough that I can use my hands to take the rest off. There we go. Now that it's loose enough, I put one finger under the bottom because there is a gasket and you don't want to drop the gasket. So when I pull it out, I put my finger underneath so that the gasket does not fall off. Set this to the side. Next step is to take a 10mm socket wrench and undo the 4 bolts holding the burner inside the heat exchanger. So I disconnect, loosen these enough so that you can then hand loosen them. So there's all 4 loose. Now I will use my hands and loosen them off one by one. Find a safe spot to store these. Alright, so I've got all 4 off. I'm going to put them in my back pocket. Next step is to disconnect the 2 wires here. So I hold this on, pull off the ground wire, and now we need to disconnect the fan wire. How we do that is there's a latch on the back side. So I'm going to push that in and pull down. So now we're disconnected. So next step, now that we have the wires disconnected, the 4 bolts off, is to pull the whole burner and fan assembly off the boiler. There we go. Okay, so again, once the screws are off, 1, 2, and now the 3rd one, we'll just pull it off, put it to the side, and then pull the black plastic shrouding off, like so. And there's the inside of your fan. Next thing is we need to use a Phillips screwdriver to disconnect 1, 2, 3, and then a small needle nose pliers to disconnect this screw. So we need to disconnect 4 screws. We will finish unscrewing the 4 screws here. There's 1, put that to the side. 2, put it to the side. Number 3, put it to the side. And number 4 requires the needle nose pliers. Loosen it. Take the 4 screw off. And then we can just pull the fan right off. There you go. Be careful with the old gasket. And there's your old fan. Put it to the side. Take the new fan and reassemble. Ideally, you put on this screw first because it's the most difficult. At least start to screw it in, like so. And then go with the next 4. And we'll tighten them after. There's the 4. And we'll go in a cross tightening pattern. So we'll start up here. Then we'll go down, reverse, onto this guy. Back up to the top. And finish tightening this guy. Now that we have the black plastic shrouding connected via 3 screws back on tight, we'll put the burner back into the heat exchanger. Hold with 2 hands, like so. Remember, we have 4 bolts here. You can hand tighten them one at a time. Very easy. I go top and bottom and across. So I'm going to go top again, and then I'll go down here across. Take my 10mm socket wrench again, tighten up those 4. So again, we want to go diagonally when we tighten. So top to bottom, top to bottom. We don't have to do super tight. That's good enough. A good hand tight. There we go. And last one. Put the wrench to the side. Reconnect our wires. So the one main wire to the fan, just push up. Like so. The ground is a little tricky, but you'll see if you look down, there's a connection on the back behind the burner here. There we go, that's on. Next thing is we need to grab the gas pipe to connect it from here into the blower. Remember, there's a gasket connection here, so I always put it in and hold it with my index finger. Slide in. And now that I've connected, you can see the connection right there. I just hand tighten. Use a wrench to do about another half turn. There we go. Keep in mind, this is a loose connection up here.